Mukash, mukash. Mukash, mukash. Long, long ago, there lived a foolish boy. And his name was Otoko San. He lived in a village of fools. Everybody in the village was foolish. Everybody. But Otoko San was the most foolish of all. Now in those days, so long ago that nobody can remember, there were magical beings. And one of those magical beings was a tengu. Now tengu is a small creature. He wears a coat of feathers and a black hat, and he wears high clogs made of wood. But one day, Otoko San was in the village and he saw this tengu coming closer. And he saw this tengu wore a fine coat of feathers. And Otoko San thought, I would like to have that feather coat. So he took a bamboo. I can see the moon. I can see the moon so clearly and all of the stars. I can see the moon. Well, the tengu was very interested. This must be some kind of telescope. So he agreed that he would exchange his feather coat. So Otoko San took that feather coat and he put it on. When he put it on, this magical coat meant Otoko San became invisible. Oh, how wonderful. Nobody can see me. Quickly he ran away and into the village. I can play some tricks. There was a very important servant walking down the road. He was carrying an umbrella. Otoko San took the umbrella and went running down the street, swinging it over his head. Oh, my umbrella, my umbrella! Otoko San went to the fish market. Everybody was looking at the fish. Otoko San picked up the biggest fish and started running around the shop. A flying fish! Otoko San had so much fun. He went back to his home. And when he got home, he was so tired, he took off his magic coat and he lay down on his futon, his bed. And he slept. When he woke up, he looked for his magic coat. But he couldn't find it anywhere. Mother, Mother, where is my coat of feathers? Oh, that old thing, said his mother. I burned it in the fire. You burned my magic coat? Otoko San went running to the fire, and there were ashes where the coat had been burned. Otoko San had an idea. He brushed the ashes into a bucket. He took that bucket into the garden where nobody was looking. He started putting the ash on his body. And where he put the ash, he became invisible. He covered himself with the ash until he was completely invisible. Now I can play. It was the evening. He went into the centre of the village. He went to a sake bar. All the people were standing drinking sake. Otoko San wanted to taste the sake. He went behind the bar where there was a barrel of sake. He put his lips to the tap and began to drink. And as he drank, he made quite a lot of noise. The people looked, where is that noise coming from? But they couldn't see. Otoko San continued to drink, but the sake began to run down his chin. And as the sake ran down his chin, so his chin and his red lips were visible. But Otoko San didn't know. His eyes were closed. He was enjoying this delicious alcohol. More and more. But more was running down his chin and making a pool upon the floor. And there he was on his hands and knees. And soon his hands and knees and his feet became visible. On he continued drinking. What is that noise? Said the bartender. What? Strange. Otoko San jumped up. He looked around. Everybody was looking at him. He ran around the bar. Everybody was chasing him. Out into the street and down the street he ran. Everybody running after Otoko San. He ran all the way out of the village and down to the river. And there, he didn't want to be caught, so he took a deep breath and jumped into the water and held his breath for a long time. But nobody can hold their breath forever. Finally, he came up, and everybody in the village was standing by the river looking at him. And you can imagine, he was completely naked. There was a kind woman. She came forward with her kimono, and he put the kimono on to cover his embarrassment. The people laughed and laughed and laughed. Otoko San, when they heard his story, you know, Otoko San, you can never trick a tengu. And they say that that tengu who tricked Otoko San for cheating him with a bamboo that was not a telescope made that joke happen. And that tengu is laughing even now while I'm telling you this story.